Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with Golden Opportunities Coaching. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you seasoned veterans of what we do around here. What we do around here is bring about conversations about a variety of topics, social, psychological, emotional, coaching related topics that are disseminated in an audio format, usually daily. We try to get here every day. Sometimes that goes better than others, depending on my schedule and the needs of my clients, but we certainly are, um, beyond that. Now, today we're going to talk about something that is very important, and that is poverty or financial and even emotional stability. Because poverty is a mindset that can affect both the financial and more tactical approaches to life. And so, if you are trying to bring more wealth, financial or emotional wealth, into your life, this is an audio for you. Um, and so, if you're looking to actually work with someone to do that, certainly worth doing that. We can set up a conversation. Coaching is a wonderful way to remove any blockages you may have, change some mindsets, kind of work on how your brain works a little differently so you can be more successful in a more discernible way. The there's two ways you can reach out. You can do so through Twitter at PO Perception, or you can do so right here on the About Me section of this page. My website is there, my contact information also there, and you can reach out that way. Um, so there's about uh, seven things that will hold a person back and keep them poor in mind, spirit, or finances. The first is they follow the rules. Now, notice I say rules versus laws. Obviously, you don't want to break any laws in order to do things. I think there's way too many laws, but that's a different conversation for a different day. I think the more free people are, the more successful they become. But at the same time, breaking laws in order to get where you need to be, not worth it because you're going to lose any progress you make anyway. But at the same time, rules are something totally different. You can be a successful person and not look like a model. You can be a successful business owner and not go to college. You can be a good athlete and not lift, 500 pounds of weights every day. So if you follow the rules of what make other people successful instead of the techniques, there's a difference between rules and techniques. A rule is this has to be done this way. A technique is, this is what the person's doing. How can I adapt that to something that I can naturally, effortlessly, or with minimal effort possible repeat and do regularly so that I can become successful? When you look at techniques versus rules, you'll get further. The next is they allow fear to control their life. Look, there's always times we're afraid. There are times I'm afraid or a little nervous when I put these audios out. Will it connect with people? Will it make a difference? Will this YouTube channel get as big as I want it to get and impact the thousands or tens of thousands or millions of lives I'd like for it to? I have no idea. But that's a thought. I acknowledge that it exists. I acknowledge that it's part of my experience, but it doesn't hold more than 30 seconds for me on most days because fear isn't how I run my life. My life is ran by the belief that change is possible and positivity is possible. Therefore, positive change is always possible. When that becomes your dominant belief, when that becomes your dominant approach to daily living, then things that would hold most people back will be reduced or out and out eliminated depending on the person. The next thing is and I'll put this way, they're unwilling to learn new ways. Just because someone else did something some way and had success doesn't mean that you'll be able to do it. Just because it worked 10 years ago doesn't mean it'll work in 10 minutes. And so the important thing to realize is learning new ways of doing things and ways that make sense to you. There are daily tasks I have to do in my own life that other people wouldn't do in the way that I do them because they don't have my physical limitations. They don't look at the world in the way that I do. They haven't had my life experience, so they would approach things differently. Find ways to make things work for you. The question should be, how can I do this easily in a way that makes sense? A, and B, how can I do this in a repeatable way so that I don't have to spend a whole bunch of time, other than maybe a quick refresher, on doing the same thing again and again and again. Repetition and the ability to repeat a task is just as valuable as figuring out a way to do it, because when we go into autopilot or the autonomic part of our brain in order to do more tasks. We have more brain space for the ability to fix things that require more commitment, more brain space, more approach to that. So it's valuable to learn repetitive tasking as it relates to achieving things. The inability to adjust, having rigid beliefs or having rigid standards, is another thing that keeps people poor. Well, they should be paying me more. Okay, well, what if they never do? Oh, well, he should want to spend more time with me. Okay, well, if your partner doesn't want to spend more time with you, you either have two choices. You can talk to them about it, or you can get a new partner. Talking to them about it gives a chance of compromise. But the assumption is is the dangerous thing there. Adapting to what people's needs are, being flexible, being light on your feet emotionally and mentally is important. Now, it doesn't mean compromise your standards, and this is where people get in trouble with themselves because they think that adapting means compromising your standards. If something is a standard for you and it really matters, and you wouldn't be able to live with yourself or you'd come back to it repeatedly if you do this thing, then you got to let the person or situation go. But at the same time, if it's something that you can live with changing, then being as adjustable and adaptable as possible will help you a bunch more. The next thing is get in a habit of study. Whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, whether it's having a successful marriage, whether it's getting a new job, whether it's learning a new hobby, study the people that have already done what it is that you want to do. This is because you'll be able to create a relationship of consistency with thinking about how other people do things so you can get there quicker. And if you get in the habit of being a person who studies, when you need to learn something new on your feet, you've already in the habit of how you learn best, how your information is received best, and then where you go. The next thing that people do that keeps them poor is they don't know how to market themselves. They don't know how to sell themselves. Most of the time, people care if you can get things done, not about what you've done before or your degree or your necessary, the history of what you've done. They care, can you get this done in a timely fashion? Can you get this done quickly? Can you get it done well? So, if you need to be able to convince somebody that you can do this task professionally or personally, or you'd be a good partner for them, or they should sleep with you, or whatever it is, you've got to be able to sell the reasons this is true. If you can't sell, you're shooting yourself in the foot, and you will remain in a poor space. The last thing is people settle. Well, this is the best that's ever happened in my family line, and even though I'm struggling and I can't barely pay my bills, at least I'm paying them. Well, that's fine in the short term, but sooner or later, settling over the long term will lead you to anxiety, depression, lack of fulfillment. So, settling is dangerous because it doesn't lead you to any level of progress. So, hopefully, this is helpful. I encourage you to keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Until next time, everybody.